of the previous day, rejuvenate ourselves, and in terms of energy levels, and having clarity for the next day, you need a proper quality sleep. A lot of Lagosians don't get enough sleep for obvious reasons. We know the hustle and bustling of the city, and then people are under so much stress. The stress nowadays is unprecedented. It's the kind of stress that I'm sure that generations before us didn't go through such kind of stress. We have stress from work, from family, from the traffic and everything happening around. So it's important that everyone is intentional about their sleep. And for every adult, you should have a minimum, meaning that that's the least you should have 6 hours of sound sleep. But when you ask Lagosians, they'll tell you how. How is that possible? But the truth is, if you don't do that, you're actually cutting an essential part of your life away, cutting an essential part of your well-being out. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, your body interprets it as stress. Your stress levels are high, your stress hormones are high, and everything is in overdrive. You are more irritable, you are prone to chronic illnesses, you are prone to chronic inflammation, and you're at risk of several mental disorders as well. So it's very essential that we are intentional about our sleep. We must have a proper work-life balance.
Okay.
When you work, then you have to take time to rest. And if you don't rest well and you push yourself, into the burden of the next day, you are going to be having sleep deprivation, and sleep deprivation can manifest as different things. People come to the hospital with non-specific symptoms: headaches, joint pains, they feel a heaviness in their heads, and they feel their eyes are heavy, and all that. All that can be pointing towards that. And we mentioned hypertension last week. Hypertension is a chronic, non-communicable illness that has a lot of complications. And people that are suffering from insomnia, they are at particular risk of developing high blood pressure. So it's very important that everybody makes it a part of them. And we spoke about the things we can do to make sure our sleep is better. Physical conditions, the temperature, the ventilation, the illumination of the area where you're sleeping. It must be as comfortable as possible. And then also, we talk about psychological factors. Are you dealing with anxiety? A lot of people are dealing with anxiety. Somebody called me yesterday, and I was on the call with this lady for almost about 40 minutes. And she was just talking about how she can't sleep, talking about why she cannot sleep. Because the problem of not sleeping is starting from somewhere. And she's uncertain about many things: uncertain about her job, uncertain about finances, uncertain about sustainability of her employment. Because you can get to work and they tell you your job has ended.
Oh, yes, now.
Exactly. And then you don't even know where the next
meals
funds
don't come from.
exactly are coming from, and school fees are there, rent is there, upkeep is there, and all that. So that uncertainty builds up anxiety in people. So people should try to find out good outlets for this pressure. There are pressures in life. What are the outlets you can use? Make sure that you exercise well. When you exercise, it's not only good for your weight or for your circulation, it's also good for your mental health. Because endorphins, good hormones that make you feel good, are released into your system when you exercise well. And then find quality friendships, quality relationships. I think we need to emphasize this in Nigeria, because we don't talk on mental health and psychological help more. We need healthy communication and healthy relationships.
Okay.
This will help us be able to be vulnerable. You can find somebody to share your problems with. You can find somebody who you can vent to. You can find somebody who you can discuss how you truly feel to, and who would not judge you, who would not really put unnecessary pressure on you, and who would also help you work towards the solution you need. So it's very essential that we surround ourselves with the right people, because life already has its pressures. So you don't need relationships that would further pressurize you or will be toxic to you. And if you're working in a place that is toxic, walk away from the place and get better opportunities. Because the truth of the matter is that if you're in a toxic place, you have enough stress in your daily life. You are now going back to a place that would multiply the toxicity. So you have to find a place that supports you physically, emotionally, and all around.
And otherwise.
Exactly. So people should try as much as possible to know that you need to be positive and optimistic in life. Because if you dwell on all your problems and don't count your blessings and don't show gratitude for what you have in your life, then sleep would always be a problem. Because for you to shut down and sleep well, your mind must be calm. But if you are worried and your mind is always traveling in different directions, you're thinking of what to do tomorrow, where the next money will come from, all the people that are fighting you, the people that gave you toxic behavior at work, it just gets you agitated, and it all amounts to your health and well-being at the end of the day.
I also think women will understand this your angle better. She might want to throw more light to
Absolutely.
it. Seriously.
So
you know, this unnecessary anxiety, worry, and all of that. Maybe you won't talk to us.
Okay, so doctor was talking, and I was like, I like to personalize things, maybe because I'm a sociologist.
Okay.
So, like he had mentioned, once anyone feels down or they are sick, the next thing is, I want to see a medical doctor. I want to go to hospital, which is correct. However, my medical sociologist lecturer insighted me on something that is practiced in the country where she did her PhD. So when you come to the hospital, we have the medical doctor, we have the psychologist, we have the sociologist, we have tradomedical practitioner. So when you come, by the time from the reception, or you get to say medical doctor, by the time you finish talking and you are talking about sleep, they know where to send you to. They will just tell you, this is not biological move, right? Now, for women, it might look like it's really not bothersome for women, because just like you said, find someone you can rant to or you can vent for. Women, even if you don't want to, you will listen. They don't even look at your body tone. They are not like, they just feel like, okay, I have to talk it out. If they're vexing me in my workspace, either I will call my girlfriend, or I will call my mother, or I will call my brothers. There's just someone I will have to vent to and I will talk to. But you see a man, you hear, even when as a man you want to complain. So I think first off is on learned behaviors. A man, even when you complain, the person you are complaining to be like, are you not a man? Be a man. And then you wonder, I ask the question, what do you mean by be a man? Who is a man? A man is a human being.
Exactly.
But then we have removed the humanity part from being a man, and we have turned it to an idea where you should be a stone. But in as much as we, over the week, like I said, I personalized it. Over the week, I also struggle from sleeping. I don't know how to even initiate, not to talk of maintaining sleep.
Okay.
But it got to a point that if I had to call him, I started having this eye allergy and everything. And by the time he finished talking to me, I remember saying, if you are a Christian or you believe in a God, please also spiritualize it. As you are going to hospital, also pray. God, give me sleep. It became that bad because I couldn't even open my eyes. Like, I went to the market and I became blank. I thought I'd gone blind. It just shows that sleep has a major effect on not just your mental state, but everything about you. And the issue about us as a human is whether you take that rest or not, your body will take it one way or the other. It's either it will take it and you come back, or it will take it and then you now rest in perfect peace. The rest you refuse to take, you will now take it.
You rest
on a permanent basis.
You now realize that your body can now shut down. But I don't want us to get to that extent.
All right. Doc, BP, there are things people don't check. And these things are very, very vital. Number one is blood pressure. The other one is cholesterol level. And another one is, what do I call that again? Sugar level.
Sugar, yeah.
Blood sugar. I want us to talk on this, the essence of checking these things. Some will say, I beg you, you know. And your weight.
Exactly.
Let me add that to it. Your weight is important. Please talk to us. BP, cholesterol, sugar level, weight, and all of this. Why do we have to check all of these things? How important are they?
They are very important because these are major indices of your health status. Because if you don't get them right, you are just calling for complications to come. And we've mentioned before that BP is a silent condition. If you are waiting for symptoms, you will never find those symptoms. But the damage is being done. Very quiet.
Do you mean they don't have
subtle.
symptoms?
Yeah, BP, no symptoms. You may feel perfect. I've seen patients walking to the hospital, and after the BP is checked, and we see the BP, we say, Oga, you can't go. You are going to be admitted. You have a bed ready for you. And he's like, I came here myself. I have a meeting in 1 hour. What do you mean I need to be admitted? I don't feel like I'm ill. I feel perfect. But look at your readings. Your readings are saying otherwise. Your reading is saying you are treading on dangerous ground. Your reading is saying anything beyond this, you can have a stroke right here. You can die right here. You can have a kidney complication. Anything can go wrong. But people don't tend to check this thing because we have a false sense of wellness. The basic person or the average person in Nigeria believes I wake up in the morning, I can come out of my bed myself, I raise my hands, I greet people, people respond to me, I can have my bath myself, I can wear my clothes, I jump into my car, I'm out. They believe that is wellness. But the truth is, if that was truly wellness, then we won't be having cases of this slumping and dying. Most of these cases of slumping and dying that you mentioned earlier, you see people wake up in the morning, have breakfast with their family, go out on their daily activities, and suddenly a call comes. This person collapsed in the banking hall. This person collapsed in the marketplace. This person collapsed at the bus stop, and nobody can explain. And the first thing people will say is, village people. It's not possible. It's not I still spoke with this person 10 minutes ago now. He sounded fine. He didn't complain of anything. So what could have been wrong? The truth of the matter is there are some subtle medical conditions that people have that are not obvious on the surface. So if you are waiting to look for symptoms on the surface, it will be too dangerous because not everybody is lucky to come back to tell the story. I had a recent encounter in the hospital. That was about a week ago. It was a very stressful situation. A man who was a driver resumed at his workplace, did his normal work, and around 5 p.m. in the evening was just stationary, could not raise his hand, could not raise his leg, could not speak well. That's a stroke. They didn't know what to do. His employers just bundled him, brought him to the hospital. When we checked his blood pressure, he had a blood pressure of 270 over. The diastolic reading was explosive. And when we asked, has there been a history of high blood pressure? They said, no, this is the first time we know he is ever having high blood pressure. That means that he has never gone to check. That means that he has never been going for regular health checks because your blood pressure will not rise to that level in one day. It did not start that day. To cut the long story short, this man, by the time he was sent for a CT scan, he already had a ruptured artery in his head and is already bleeding into the brain, what we call a hemorrhagic stroke. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you can have different types of stroke. You can have the ischemic stroke where circulation to the brain is obstructed and then you now have some neurological deficits from there. Or you can have the hemorrhagic stroke where there's an actual rupture of the blood vessels because the blood pressure is severely elevated. And that comes with many complications. Some people don't live to tell the story. Some people are permanently incapacitated. And you know that stroke comes with disability, comes with loss of sensation, paralysis, and then speech disturbances, of which some people, when they don't even institute the right care at the right time, the incapacitation may be permanent. And for some other people, they will say, because the bills are too much. Now, see, they had an emergency, complication are setting. Now, the care is expensive. Very soon, the family will say, no, discharge him, we'll take him to the village. There's somebody there. We'll take him to the village. When he gets to the village, we have some people, all this is hand that is not moving, will start moving well. The next thing you just hear that either the man dies, or even if he does not die, you hear that the man, he loses his job. And the amount of money it takes to manage all this situation is nothing compared to how much you would have spent just taking your simple drugs every day and going for your routine health check. So at the end of the day, when we tell people that money you are trying to save in the name of, I feel fine, why should I go and waste money? Or I did my test 2 years ago and they said everything was free. I spent a lot of money. They just took my money away from me. I tell people, when you go for a test and you have a clean bill of health, you have not wasted money. You have bought peace of mind for yourself. And you are being responsible.
Because some persons think once you go to the hospital and they say you are normal, everything is okay. I don't waste this money.
I don't waste this money. This money where I feel use buy this, buy that, do this, do that, journal for business. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have that health, nothing else is going to work for you. So if you choose not to spend that money for the health care that you need, when you need it, to diagnose things in the early stage and tackle it, and you wait till the big things happen, till complications set in, I tell you, people can sell their properties because of a health challenge. People can sell their homes, they can sell their cars, they can sell almost anything to stay alive. You don't have to get to that point. You don't have to get to the point where complications that will set in, even the doctor cannot guarantee that a person will be out of it 100% when they are actually preventable. So we need that reorientation.
That's why I said first off is behavioral change. We have been indoctrinated into a system that I like to say be religiously responsible.
Absolutely, that's the term.
I use that phrase a lot. I will tell you I'm a Christian, but if I'm not feeling fine, it's a medical doctor I go to. Am I praying? Yes. But I still want a medical doctor to say, oh, so there is nothing wrong. So and I'll be like, God, thank you. Or a medical doctor say, there's something wrong. And I'll be like, God, see this thing. So I'm taking my medication and I'm still having faith. But then you hear when you tell someone, God forbid. Once you say, oh, go to hospital to check, the next thing is, no. Okay, so I have a personal experience. I lost my cousin to something like that.
Okay.
He didn't even know he had diabetes. So, but when he was explaining, I said, go and do. He said, when I come, people used to collect my money. Unfortunately, he died at 28.
Oh.
But it's still something I like. Oh, that was what really also motivated my foundation. Where I don't want a case, like doctor said, you might really not live to tell the story. I'm telling his story now. But if he was responsible enough to, and I would always say, even if you attend a church where there's a medical unit, the least you can do is walk in and have your blood pressure checked. It does not mean it's not a death sentence. I've had times where I checked my blood pressure and the doctor will be, oh, that's high. And I'm like, oh, okay. At least it helps me walk around. What is it? There was a time, anxiety disorder. I had to okay, Abigail, take life easy. It's not, but at least I have to know first before I even know. I need to know my enemies to know the battle I'm fighting.
Okay.
So it first starts with behavioral change.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to ask this question. You see, very soon I think I would have to do this. Very soon I might, you're a doctor. Maybe, I'm not promising next Thursday, or maybe sometimes next month, I'll bring in a spiritualist for the first time to the studio. As when I say spiritualist, herbalist, the one with the collar. People they use charm, they cure, all those kind of people. I will have to look for one and bring one. I mean, you not get one for my family. I mean, sorry,
No, okay, so
Doctor, I don't know if
this is so we have different kinds. Like I say, it's part of the things I did in sociology.
Then
So
I will get a pastor.
spiritualist. Yes.
You get. I'll get a pastor.
And then
Let's
also,
talk about
also
because
get a
there is-
tradomedical.
Of course.
That's
See,
an herbalist,
see.
not charm, but they use herbs.
No, I know why I'm saying this. leave herbs matter. See, because some people believe if you colo mental, now for village, in this part of the world, people don't believe that anything upstairs here, when something is wrong with you upstairs, is medicine. They say go meeting, somebody did for village with the remote control, and that's it. Recently, I saw, on the bus stop, not quite far from here, I used to see one woman now. That one, so you never tell, you just start. You could see this one is still fresh and everything. Oh, I begin to wonder what actually happened. Why? A woman, get body, they okay, and people will tell you, now for village now, is that she's a witch or something shall just happen.
But somebody has bewitched her.
Or bewitched her or something, anything. But then if I want to ask Dr. Adeogun, he will tell me, well, the osteoporosis of the whatever in the medulla, there is something is kidding somewhere. You understand? So, but that aside, I want to ask you, how often do we check blood pressure? How often, like a whole lot of persons are listening to us right now, how often do you go for this check? You understand? And that's one. Two, what causes blood pressure in the first place?
Well, blood pressure is a condition. Well, not blood pressure. Let's say hypertension.
Okay.
So
okay.
Because blood pressure, every living person has
blood pressure.
Exactly. And you have the normal range of blood pressure. But
And the high one will talk.
But that hypertension, that high one.
Okay.
The cause is really not known in majority of cases. What we call idiopathic. We don't know what is really causing it. But in 10% of cases, you have people who are having a kidney problem causing it. They have people who have endocrine causes, like maybe high thyroid function, or
Okay.
they have certain hormonal problems relating to that. And then you also have pregnancy-induced hypertension. And of course, you now have some people taking certain medications or are on certain substances that pushes them into having that condition. But when you talk of how often do we check it, I think it's a factor of age and also a factor of your family history. Yes. You know, if you are getting older, the tendency for you to develop high blood pressure increases for everybody because the arteries thicken, the elasticity of the arteries are not like before. You can have plaques within your arteries, you know, and all that. But the family history is very essential. Anybody that knows that he has first degree relations that have high blood pressure, your antenna must be up because you know you have to be checking yourself. Even if your blood pressure appears normal now, you know you're getting older every day, but you should be keeping an eye on it. So it's a factor.
When you
of
say
age.
older, please let's know. 40 upwards, 45, 50,
By the time,
35.
Well, before we normally say 40 upwards, take care of your health. That a lot of things are changing drastically about it. But now we even find people way below that in their 20s dealing with high blood pressure. So I would say more it's a factor of your genetics. If you know your father or your mother or a sibling has high blood pressure, you should be checking more frequently. If you know you are overweight, you should be checking more frequently. If you know you take a lot of alcohol or you smoke, you should be checking more frequently. If you know that for any reason you've been told before your blood pressure was high at any point in time, you should also be checking because it can reoccur. And then you, like we said, because it has no symptom, don't wait for any symptom because you may not find any. And then it's also necessary for you to know that if you have high blood pressure and your doctor for any reason has placed you on a medication, don't for any reason on your own stop that medication, because the doctor knows best why he gave you that particular medication to control your BP. And if they give you for a length of time, make sure you complete that duration. Don't say, well, I think I checked yesterday, it was fine. Your doctor should know and guide you on all the steps you should take. So it's very essential that we consider lifestyle, we consider age, we consider genetics, and then your people that are sedentary. Maybe your work entails that you resume and you're at a desk from morning till evening. You don't get to get up from where you are. You send people on errands, but you yourself are stationary all the time. You should always check your blood pressure because all those are important risk factors that put you at risk of developing high blood pressure. Then, of course, salt consumption for everybody. We keep emphasizing that you're getting older. You should minimize your salt. You should minimize the condiments.
Stop taking salt.
The MSGs, the additives to food, the seasonings and all that. Some of them to increase your chances of developing high blood pressure. Then checking your cholesterol too. It's not written on anybody's face. You can't tell. Somebody who is slimmer than myself may have extremely high cholesterol. And you find people who are on the big side that their cholesterol may be fine. So it's very essential that we go for all these wellness checks because for some people, the first time they ever know they have this condition is when they have a stroke. Or sometimes is when this slump and die thing happens that everybody will now say, we never knew you had this. We never knew you had that. So it's essential that you create emergency funds or you have a budget for your health so that each time you can go and check the needful. And please, once they find out something, that is not the time to reject it like Dr. Abigail has said. Because if you reject it, that is being in denial. And being in denial does not change anything, does not change what the real situation is. We need to be really factual. If you have a particular condition, it is scientific. The doctor has identified. And it's important that I need to emphasize that if you go for a test and they find out something from that test, then that means what you have is a physical problem. If you run all the tests now and we cannot really find any problem and we see that you are really, really going down the drain, and we see that your condition is not improving, then we'll now start saying, maybe we should look at other things. Or we are giving you blood. We don't know where the blood is going to.
Yes, even doctors
and we cannot account.
they refer.
Yeah, at some point.
Doctors do that.
At some point, a doctor can tell a patient, you may need spiritual support.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Doctors do that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sorry. When you say spiritual support, please break it down.
So a patient comes to you now, you've done everything that you're supposed to do for the patient. Or you have found out that a patient has a condition that is a deteriorating condition of which you know at this point medical help it has its limitations here. You can't go beyond this because there is no cure, for instance, for the condition. And you know that this person is going down the drain. And you've done everything possible as a doctor. You've done all the relevant tests, person has gone through all the important treatments. at that point in time, a doctor should still give hope to the patient. A doctor should still let the patient have a glimmer, because if imagine a patient coming and I'm looking like this as a doctor and saying, "Oga, we don't do everything we can do. Or at this point, you're on your own. At this point, our hands are up like this. Your matter, chapter don't close." A doctor should never say that.
Okay.
So we'll
I
give
think-
you something to
I
hold on to.
I think now I now understand why some doctors are Odogun doctors. They get eye for front.
Both
Wait until they do the surgery. They get eye for back. Wait until they do. No. But then, I was surprised when you said some doctors will not say that there is a spiritual anything. Should go and
No, we're not
seek
saying
spiritual-
we're not saying that the cause of the disease is spiritual. We're just saying in this sense, when we say spiritual support, we mean that at this point,
Come.
medicine has its limitations to help you. So at this time, your faith can drive you. So your faith, like Dr. Abigail said, if you believe in God, your faith in God can pull you through. Your faith in God can sustain you, because your prayers and your positive mindset and your faith can actually help your physical health. We've seen a lot of patients that, their condition is really going south, but because of their faith, they're able to pick themselves up. They don't get into depression. They don't get into that state that they lose hope and they are despairing. They are still holding on to the fact that they will recover. They will get better. And you find a situation that they come for checkups and they are actually improving. So you cannot underestimate the place of faith and belief in your well-being. So when we say spiritual support, we're not necessarily saying that somebody somewhere sent an arrow, because our people believe that one.
Of course.
Aha.
I quickly want to come in here. This issue of using agbo, everyone is getting into it. A lot of youths, people, they feel one is Okmaini, one is there's this name they call it.
Jedi.
They all those things, and I want you to talk about this agbo thing. Some will still tell you the best way to treat yourself is root and herbs. Is an ancient way of treating ourselves. But now, you as a doctor, I know you would never want to advise people to use agbo. I don't know. I'm just saying. But then, you think agbo is okay? Because by the time you say you are sick now, in fact, some people used to collect special agbo from the village till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't worry, my mom will arrange something for me and they will send it specially the way Billy to Lagos. I don't know how you want to talk. Please talk to us about agbo, the use of agbo.
The truth is that agbo or herbal mixtures or herbal concoctions or whatever we call them, before the advent of modern medicine, there was a way people treated themselves. There was a way people managed health conditions and people got better. But the truth is, for me, I'll be talking from a perspective of a scientist. And when you're talking like a scientist, it has to be evidence-based. There's no evidence, then science does not hold water.
Okay.
So if you tell me this mixture in this bottle is capable of doing this or that, then we have to verify those claims. And we have to not only verify that it's doing that, we also have to verify the safety and the toxicity of that substance. Because the fact that something has removed one problem is no guarantee that it's not compounding another problem or causing something else. So we have to be sure that this is doing what it's saying it will do, it is not causing more harm, and it is safe to consume. And we need to do that amongst a study population, and it must be documented. That is what a research is all about.
Okay.
So if there's no research, if there's no way to verify those claims, if there are no evidence to back the claims, then a doctor would not subscribe to that or recommend those things. And then there's a problem with dosage. For the agbos, there's a problem with dosage. When they say take one cup, take one shot, somebody's shot may be another person's
Stall.
bucket. So you don't know. So you have issues with that. And,
Okay.
then people have underlying conditions, maybe liver problems before or kidney problems they didn't know before. Some of these mixtures too, you combine them, there are some reactions that go on there. So when you consume it and you already have an underlying condition, you may be worsening the situation.
Okay, Doc. Let's answer some questions now. Quickly. Tochukwu has been following us on YouTube, and he's got several wonderful statements here. I'll read just a couple of them. He said, "Good afternoon. As regards sleep now, a little sleep a little slumber, a little sleep, so your poverty comes. You don't need sleep.
That.
A man has no need for sleep, if he hasn't solved poverty. That's what he's saying. And then
I think we should talk on
he
that.
said both are like the devil and the deep blue sea. What do you think?
Well, a little sleep, a little slumber. I know that comes from Proverbs or Ecclesiastes in the Bible. But the truth is, yes, run around for money, do what you should do, spread your tentacles to make a living. But the truth is, you get all the money and you use that money that you acquired to get the health you have lost. That is the truth. Because that is just a disaster waiting to happen. If you are not giving your body the need, even God that created heaven and earth on the seventh day rested. So how can a mortal, a human, think that he is Robocop or Voltron, that would not need sleep, would not need sufficient rest, and you keep dragging yourself like that? That is welcoming quick aging. You will age so quickly. Because do you know that when you sleep, apart from you being refreshed, collagen, which is the most abundant protein in your body, is produced. You look younger when you sleep well. You look brighter. Your complexion, everything about you is more relaxed, But the rate at which you age, because of the stress you're putting yourself through if you're not getting enough sleep, not to talk of the psychological and emotional and physical effects of sleep deprivation. I don't think it is healthy for you to just be running around looking for money, because at the end of the day, if you don't give your body that needed rest, you will be willing to spend all that money back to get that health back. So it's very essential that you have a proper work-life balance.
That's the thing. Is that balance? So poverty is not something that can be solved, because from the person's question, the person is seeing poverty as is not a case where you take to medical office and then they just give you paracetamol, take 2 tablets a day and you're fine. It's a continuous event that even if you work, I used to give an illustration that if hard work solves poverty, men that carry bong bong in a cement factory would be the richest.
Absolutely.
We see a lot of conductors, right? It has even happened in a bus twice. Conductor fell from where they were hanging. He slept off and he fell, and that was it.
Oh no.
So my question is always, which is better? So I am very weary when people pull out a scripture. I would always say I'm a Bible believing, Bible practicing Christian. So I'm very weary when persons pull up a scripture, just the part that suits their definition. I would always tell you, please, can you read me verse 1 before you read verse 2, and then read verse 3, because there is always something that led. The Bible said a little sleep, a little slumber. It did not say thou shalt not sleep. Yes,
A little,
just a little. Well, we are even telling you have 6 hours. That's not a little.
And the context in which the Bible was saying that is a little sleep, meaning that you're at work, for instance. Let me catch some sleep. And then you're at home, you should be doing something productive.
You're pressing your phone.
Sleeping again, a little slumber. That's being slothful. That's being lazy. That's being idle. You don't want to get productive. You don't want to initiate your creativity. That is what the Bible is referring to. That you prefer that laid back, easy life. That is what the Bible is referring to, that would worsen your poverty, not physical sleep. Even Jesus in the boat slept. They were waking him up to calm the storm, if you remember. So if Jesus could sleep, I don't know, any human being that does not want to sleep, I need to meet that person.
This person is saying, good morning, doctor. Thank you for the good job you're doing. If you are on BP drugs and your doctor asks you to be taking it every day and you check it, it is red, or if you check it is really low, is it right for you to take a day or 2 break and then continue before your next appointment?
No.
Madam Florence is asking that question.
No.
Do you understand?
Absolutely no. And I will give you from an experience.
Okay.
So I serve in the medical unit, and I was also going to say it's not every malaria symptoms that it is malaria.
Okay.
It could actually be signs of BP. There was an incident that happened that almost turned into a life and death situation. A man walked in. He was serving in traffic unit. He walked in and was like, so I'm feeling headache, my body is hot, my this, I know it's malaria, give me malaria drug. So the nurse that was on was like, okay, we have a lot of them that comes in this season. But there was a specialist on ground. The specialist said, excuse me, sir, please can you sit down? I learned something that day. The man sat down. He now said, check his BP. So I did that. This man's BP was 243. And I was like, sir, the man said, you see as you are standing, just stand. Don't even, just stand like that. So the man had to get him by himself, place him. And I was like, okay, I know he's high, but is it that bad? The man said, that is a walking corpse. Just you wait. But then I learned something that day, that it is not just a matter of I feel headache, so I must take paracetamol. And then the specialist told us, he said, before you even prescribe, check BP, because it's silent. You might not even know. It can come in any form. And we found out that this man was previously on BP drugs, and it finished.
And
It
never
got
came back.
exhausted. He was supposed to go back, but he felt like, okay, I've been doing well this past 2 days, 3 days. When I go, I will take. The moment it came back, it was for his life. So it's even the same thing when you are on antiretroviral drugs. Your doctor say take this, and after a year you say, I went to check, my viral load is not high again, so I'm HIV free, and then you stop. When there's a rebound, it's usually not, it might not be something you could survive. So take it until, let the doctor by himself tell you, because the more you take the medication, it has the tendency and the potential to, it's supposed to repress the infection or the disease.
Okay.
It's supposed to help you repress it. So it's not when it represses you now feel you have been cured or have been healed. Go back, let the doctor that prescribed tell you it's safe. So please don't remove yourself from medication.
You want? Let me quickly add this. Someone is asking a question here. How often do you check your BP when you are on BP drugs?
If you're on BP drugs,
Is it daily, weekly, fortnightly?
if you're on BP drugs, I would advise that you check daily.
Daily.
Every day.
Yes, and you have your own monitor, because you can't be in the hospital all the time. They are very easily available monitors. You have the wrist type, you know, and then the arm cuff type. Have it at home. Invest in that. It's your health. And then keep a record, keep a diary. And some of these monitors have memory, you know, so that when you're going to the hospital at your next visit, you can show your doctor the trend. And the doctor would be perfectly informed of how the trend of your blood pressure is. If he wants to change your dose, maybe he wants to up the dose or even minimize the dose or even take out some of the drugs that you're using, he'll be able to have at a glance a good representation of how your BP trend has been. And that's really very helpful. So we can afford to buy phones. There's no cheap phone in Nigeria again. A lot of people can afford to buy phones. So why can't you invest in blood pressure monitor? Get a good brand and keep a good record of your blood pressure. It would help you in the long run. It will also help your professional who is managing you to be able to monitor you closely and know details about how your blood pressure has been fluctuating.
Beautiful. Before we run, this person is saying, good morning, doctor and Dr. Abigail. I am Charles from Bariga. I want to ask before, in the afternoon I don't usually sleep. It will be hard for me to sleep in the afternoon unless I decide to force myself to sleep. So this sickness came just last week and I'm getting better now, but anytime in the afternoon I usually feel dizzy at work this time around, and I don't used to feel like this before until this sickness happened. Is there anything I should look out for?
It's important that he goes to the hospital, and it's important that he does some investigation. So if you're feeling dizzy, we want to check your blood level. Are you anemic? Do you have enough hemoglobin? Your PCV, what's the reading? And then we also want to check your blood sugar as well. Are you low on sugar? We need to know all that. Then we also want to be sure, do you have malaria? Because that's also another thing that can get you weak, destroy your red cells, and you just have this fatigue you can't explain. And overall assessments would be helpful, and a doctor physically seeing you and examining you would also have enough what do you call it, enough information to make a diagnosis or whatever
Okay.
is wrong with you. So I would encourage him to go for a comprehensive check at the hospital. Your doctor is going to examine you physically, send you for investigations, and then they will be able to find out why. If your blood is not sufficient or you're a bit anemic, they will place you on some blood boosters or blood supplements, or they can inform you about what you can eat, incorporating your diet to improve your blood levels. And if it's something relating to your sugar, it would also be detected. If it's malaria, it would also be detected and you'll be treated accordingly. So I think that's what he should do.
And if it's not detected,
Okay.
should look at his physio and his mental state. If there's something
Yes,
that is
because
What you say?
bothering him,
If you do all this and you don't feel better, you should also look inwards your emotional and psychological state too, because sometimes when people are depressed, you just have low energy without knowing why. Even to come out of bed may be a task. And it's not a physical condition. You check every other parameters in your body, they are fine. But depression itself can make you so lethargic that you have no energy to do anything and you're not motivated to do anything. So it's important that we have a proper holistic approach to health complaints. Thank you.
Great stuff. Our time is up. We have to go, but like I would always say, everyone, the doctor, the way this show is designed so you can ask questions now and later. All right. When we talk about health, anything can just happen and you need someone to talk to. Okay. That's why I just want to encourage you to go to either WhatsApp or Instagram and meet the doctor. Those are his handles. It's called Doctor's Mike. Okay. Doctor's Mike is where you can get the doctors. You can ask questions. Doctor's Mike, like you know how to spell doctor, Abi? Doctor, put apostrophe S. Doctors, then the mic is MIC. Doctor's Mike. Those are his handles. You could just go there and ask questions. Just drop a question and he's ready, to always answer you. All right? Courtesy VOP 90.3 FM. Dr. Abigail, thank you so much.
thank you for having me.
And of course, Dr. Charles Adiogun.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much.
coming.
Thank you.
All right. For me, I am Jude, Ikami Jude. And of course, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them, I am IKAMIJUDEH. IKAMIJUDEH. That is Ikami Jude. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow by the special grace of God. 7 a.m. is the time. Happy Democracy Day.